your own silhouette.
Okay, so starting off this look as I normally would with a primer. This one is Benefit's Stay Don't Stray primer in the shade Medium Deep, and just applying that onto the lids and blending it all out using my clean ring finger. Next, in order to set my primer and help out with blending, I'm going to be adding a layer of my NARS pressed powder onto my entire lid using a large shading brush. Using my MannyMUAXMakeupGeek collaboration palette, I'm going to start off with the shade Beaches and Cream, which is a nice warm transition shade. It doesn't really make a whole lot of difference on my skin tone, but on someone with, more fair skin tone, you can definitely see this on the lid. It's really nice to start off any kind of look, nice and warm, just to begin the look. So I'm going to be applying this with my Sigma E40 back and forth along the crease, and then moving on to the shade Sora and doing the exact same thing, so just back and forth along the crease and circular and windshield wiping motions, just building that color intensity up since this one is going to show a little bit more on my skin tone. Next, grabbing the shade Frappe and my Sigma E25, which is a blending brush, just a smaller blending brush. I'm going to be applying that shade onto my entire crease, back and forth, building up that color intensity. Since this color is a little bit more rich and warmer than the previous, I figured that this would be a good shade to start trying to define that crease. And then grabbing a pretty intense color, this one is Mars from the palette, and doing the exact same thing that I did with the previous color. So I'm going to be defining my crease back and forth along the outer portion of my mobile lid area. So I'm not winging the crease out, I'm not winging the color out like I sometimes do. I'm keeping it nice and round and just really lightly applying this color because it is really intense. And if you go really heavy with it, it's really, really hard to blend it out and kind of tone it down. So I'm really trying my hardest to go really, really light, so not applying a whole lot of pressure onto the actual brush, and then just blending out the edges. Next, grabbing the shade Aphrodite with the same brush, I'm simply going to be applying that onto my outer V and then just dragging that color into my crease, and then just blending out everything once again. On the lid, I'm going to be applying the shade Luna. This is a foiled eyeshadow from the palette, which I absolutely love. Makeup Geek's foil eyeshadows are just amazing. They're super buttery, they're super soft, and they look just stunning. They just look stunning. I just love them. So that's a big reason why I love this palette. So applying that onto the mobile lid area and then just skipping out on the outer V and blending out the edges using my Sigma E25. Next, I'm going to be applying a winged line, and I'm going to be doing so by using my Maybelline Eye Studio gel liner, and this one is in the shade Blackest Black, and just grabbing the tiniest little winged liner brush that I own. I believe this is the Sigma 06. I'll have all of the brushes and everything in the description bar below just in case you're interested, and applying a pretty elongated line, not too thick though, not too thin, just your basic average elongated wing line. And then grabbing my Bambi lashes, these are from House of Lashes, applying those on the eyes. I love these lashes because they're super comfortable and they're just the right amount of glam and just va-va-boom, you know what I mean? Moving on to the face, I have to cover up those pores, and in order to do so, I'm using the Estee Edit Pore Vanishing Stick. Love this stuff. Been using it literally every single time that I wear makeup. It does a really good job at covering up the pores that I have going on the sides of my nose. So applying that onto the face, and then moving on to color correcting. Now, of course, feel free to skip this part if you don't need color correcting, but as you can see, I clearly do. And here I'm using my Under Eye Brightening Corrector from Becca, and just applying that, a nice thin layer of that onto the entire lower eye before moving on to foundation. Today I'm going to be using the new L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation. I grabbed the shade Sun Beige and I feel like it matches my skin pretty well. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's an exact match, but I was able to work with it and it looked fine. And just simply working that into my skin using a damp beauty blender. For concealer, I'm going to be using my MAC Mineralized Concealer, and this is in the shade NC35, and just applying a layer of that onto the under eye section before moving on and blending it all out using my damp beauty blender. And then, of course, to set the under eye area, I have to set it. It's just a must for me, otherwise it will crease on me, guaranteed. I'm using the RCMA No Color Loose Powder and just grabbing a light layer of that with my beauty blender and setting that all in place. To shape and fill my brows today, I'm going to be using Urban Decay's Brow Beater, and this one is in the shade Dark. Going back to the eyes, I'm going to be lining my waterline using my NYX Jumbo Pencil in the shade Yogurt. And then, of course, grabbing some mascara in order to combine my false lashes with my real lashes. And one thing that I've been doing in order to make sure that they are completely combined is that after I apply mascara, I just lightly grab both my false lashes and my real lashes and just simply pinch them all throughout, just really lightly and just once, in order to make sure that the mascara combines them both really well. In order to contour and bronze up the face a little bit, I'm going to be applying Benefit's Hoola Bronzer and just starting off at the contour line, like right at the hollow of my cheek, and then just buffing that and working that upward in order to bronze up the sides of my face. Moving on to blush, applying some Rosé Spritz from the Becca and Jaclyn Hill collaboration face palette, and then moving on to some Champagne Pop, grabbing that with my pinky and applying it, popping that right into the inner corners of my eye in order to brighten up the eyes. And of course, last but not least, on the lips, I will be using some of Ofra's long-lasting liquid lipstick, and this one is in the shade Hypno. And that completes the look. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this video and this look as much as I always enjoy making these for you. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. From town to town.